Hi guys, in this video I'm going to share with you guys a little secret of how to speak English. The reason it's so hard for you guys to speak English is because you are using the wrong part of your body to speak English. Most of you guys speak English like you do with Chinese. You speak from your mouth here. But English is very different. It's not spoken from your mouth at all. It's actually spoken from your throat and your chest here. Like if you watch me now, you notice I don't speak from here, but I'm speaking from here and here, actually a lot from here. So once you correct this problem, in just a few weeks, you will be able to dramatically improve your spoken English. Bullshit. You probably would say that. That's bullshit. Yeah, I would say that too. Just like a few months ago, I wouldn't believe that anybody could improve their spoken English dramatically in just a few weeks or even a few months. But then I actually did it. In the last few months, I feel like I have dramatically improved my spoken English. Now I feel like speaking English is just so easy, simple, and really comfortable. So it's really comfortable. So now I truly believe this little secret is very magical. So it transformed my way of speaking in a few weeks. So surely it will do the same for you guys. So first, let's listen to how I speak before I discovered this little secret. Where did you go? Isn't it? This is Mrs. Smith. No, this is the first time. What are you thinking about? Is Mr. Smith an American? Yeah, clearly that's a very standard way for most Chinese to speak English. I think people in China and also Chinese immigrants in this country, we all speak like that. Until I changed myself. Now, if you notice how I speak, I'm just speaking mostly from here now, so I don't really speak from my mouth anymore. So that's the major, that's the change. So now, I hope you guys are convinced that you can really change a lot in just a few weeks or a few months. So if you are interested in improving your spoken English, if you wish you could speak like I do someday, then just use my way. So hopefully that's going to help you guys. So let me share with you guys this little secret. It's really simple. You simply just don't speak with your mouth. You just think about like you speak from here and here. Actually, I'm just thinking about this is my mouth. I'm speaking from here. That's how I speak. So once you speak from here, mostly I concentrate on from here, and all the other part is just kind of follow whatever I want to do from here. So it's really simple. So in a few weeks, if you guys just really work on it, you will be able to speak like I do. Even if you don't speak like I do, you should be able to improve your spoken English dramatically. Of course, it all depends on how much effort you put into this. I put in about 3 or 4 hours a day or more. So if you spend a lot of time, you should be able to do that in 6 to 9 weeks. But if you don't have that much time, you can do that slowly. Eventually, you should be able to do that in 6 months. And also, if you're younger, I'm almost 60 years old. So if you're younger, you should be able to do that much faster and better than I do. So that is my story. Just want to share with you guys, it's really easy to speak English if you know this little secret. But if you don't, you could be struggling for the rest of your life, just as I did, and you will never feel comfortable speaking English. I struggled for about like 40 years. I never felt comfortable until just like about a year ago, I decided to really figure out why we Chinese couldn't speak English in a really comfortable way. So then eventually I spent a whole year to discover this little secret. The secret is just really simple. Speaking from here, then it's just so much easier, so much simpler to speak English in this way. But if you don't, then you can just repeat my failure. You could waste the rest of your life, and you will never feel comfortable speaking English if you don't speak from here. So that is my story. By the way, I just want to mention to you guys that I'm just chatting here, just like if you are sitting right in front of me. I don't have any prepared statement to read from. I don't have any memorized material. I'm just talking, chatting. It's just one way to demonstrate and also to show you guys what it is like to speak English for real. You talk to somebody and you don't really know what you need. You don't have the prepared statement, so you just talk, and also you make a lot of mistakes when you are talking. Sometimes you go halfway and then you feel like you couldn't go any further, then you stop half of the sentence and then you start a new way. Sometimes you repeat, so that's a very normal, natural way of speaking. So this is called speaking for real. You notice I'm not going to edit this video in any way, in any fashion. It's just the original recording. So that just shows what it's like to speak English for real. So there's no gimmick here, no editing. Then for the rest of the video, I will just show you guys some of the videos on how native speakers speaking English and how Chinese speaking English. Just want to fully convince you guys that English is really spoken from your mouth, not from your throat and your chest, not from your mouth. So let me show you guys. First, let's listen to Chinese speaking Chinese English. This is the one from CCTV. Let's listen.
商甘于奉献、大爱无疆的精神，全心全意为人民服务。一年来，广大医务工作者牢记。
Clearly, you can feel like when she was speaking from her mouth very high up here. So the sound was produced up higher here. So the 声音听起来很清脆，音和字和咬得很清楚。So that's how Chinese is spoken. But then in comparison, if you listen to CBS English news anchor speaking English, you will notice that she was speaking from here, very little from the mouth. Let's listen.
This instrument can teach, it can illuminate, yes, and even it can inspire. But it can do so only to the extent that humans are determined to use it to those ends. Otherwise, it's nothing but wires and lights in a box.
Okay, you can tell, right? It's just from here, speaking from this part, not from the mouth at all. So particularly, never speak English with your upper part of the upper part of your mouth. Let's put them side by side so you can get a better comparison between these two.
When he said, this instrument can teach, it can illuminate, yes, and even it can inspire. But it can do so only to the extent that humans are determined to use it to those ends.
甘于奉献、大爱无疆的精神，全心全意为人民服务。一年来，广大医务工作者牢记。
There is a great and perhaps decisive battle to be fought against ignorance, intolerance, and indifference. This weapon of television could be useful. To Mr. Murrow, we will try to use it well and with integrity.
Now I'm just going to show you guys how Chinese speaking Chinese English. And this one is actually from CGTV, 中国国际广播电台. She speaks perfect English. So it's really impressive. Let's listen.
CCTV 9, in all, the international TV of CCTV. Before I give you my answers, I would like to share with you a personal story about my serendipity with China Daily. In 1995,
yeah, that's really impressive. But you do feel like when she was speaking, she was using a lot of effort from this part of the mouth, and so you're trying to use here to manipulate the voice from here. So not from here. So I think she is kind of mixed, sometimes here, sometimes here. But the next I'm going to show you is a very standard Chinese way of speaking English. This one speaking purely just from the mouth here. It's just a lot of from the mouth speaking like this.
A lot of farmers, they plant a lot of apples, great apples. But 90% of the apples rotted because there's nobody buy them. They normally buy by track. You know, if you sell the apples, they sell whole track. And using the traditional way, they can sell by.
So hopefully by now you get a sense of how Chinese speaking and how the native English speaker speaking. Chinese speaking mostly from the mouth area, and the native speaker speaking from here. Of course, to convince you guys, I'm going to show you guys some more example. Here is British speaking British English.
Well, I think when you go out with someone for quite a long time, you do get to know each other very, very well. You go through the good times, you go through the bad times, you know, both personally, but also within a relationship as well. And, you know, I think if you can come out of that stronger.
Okay, you notice that when she was speaking, she doesn't open her mouth at all. So it's just speaking is mostly from here. That's how it's done. When you really speak English, you don't really use that much of your mouth at all. You can move as much as you want here, but not here. And here, I'm going to show you another British speaking.
Well, from my point of view, when I first met Kate, I knew there was something very special about him, and that I knew that there was possibly something that I wanted to explore there. But we ended up being friends for a while, and that just sort of was a good sort of foundation.
Okay, so now you get a sense how British speak British English. I'm going to show you some kind of more example from some Americans. And here is former President George Bush. He is from Texas. He speaks very similar to that CBS News anchor, speaking a lot from the throat area. Let's listen.
A great father. And if you were to interview my brothers and sister to a person, we would say, couldn't have a better father. And I think the reason why they would say, I know the reason why I'd say it is because he gave us unconditional love.
Okay, let me switch gear to another former president, Clinton. Yeah, he speaks just much more relaxed from the chest and throat area. Let's listen.
Our arguments were good-natured and open, and we continue to debate things all the way up until recently.
Okay, that's very nice. But the next one really speaks a lot from the chest area. That's former President Obama.
He was a good reminder that as fiercely as we may fight on policy and on issues, that ultimately we're Americans first. And that kind of attitude is something that I think a lot of people miss.
Okay, hopefully by now you guys are fully convinced that native English speakers don't speak with the mouth at all, particularly the upper part of the mouth doesn't even move much at all. So whatever you want to do, you do from the lower half of your mouth, particularly from your throat and your chest area. That's how native speakers speak. Next, I want to show you guys, because this one has very nice recording quality. So you can really feel like she speaks from the throat and chest very clearly.
To write this book, and even though, despite the fact that there's this really famous person in my family, I wanted to write a coming-of-age story about a girl growing up in California in the 80s and 90s, because I felt like if I got into it enough, if I got deep enough into it, it was a universal story.
Okay, that's the daughter of Steve Jobs. Now let's listen to Bill Gates' daughter, and let's listen how she speaks.
And Jen, you're coming off of a very exciting few weeks. You were down at Young Riders. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience and how it was for you?
Absolutely. So Young Riders is my third year going there, and I really prioritized Young Riders as my goal for this year. So I was super excited that it went well. I ended up bronze individually and silver team. So for me, that was a huge accomplishment, and all thanks to the wonderful team behind me. So I'm just really still ecstatic about that.
Okay, hopefully by now you guys are fully convinced that Chinese and English are spoken in two totally different ways. When you speak Chinese, you use a lot of your mouth, but when you try to speak English, you have to stop that. You have to learn the new way of speaking to use your throat and your chest here. Once you learn how to use your throat and your chest, you will feel that speaking English is just so simple, so easy, so comfortable. I just actually enjoying speaking English now because it's just so comfortable right from here. You get a kind of sense, oh, it's so comfortable speaking from here. That's my feeling. Another unexpected benefit of speaking from here is that now my pronunciation has improved a lot because I really had a terrible pronunciation, and I felt before I would never be able to pronounce those English vowels and English consonants correctly because they are so difficult for me. But then I just learned how to speak from my throat and my chest, and then my pronunciation just improved just all by itself. I guess that's pretty natural because you use the right way, the correct way of speaking English from your throat and your chest, then naturally you just produce the correct result. So it's just so magical. So I just love this way of speaking. So yeah, so not only your English sounds better, but also your pronunciation also much better. So isn't that magical? So guys, so that is all my little secret. I hope you guys enjoying this. So if you like this video, please give me a thumb up, and also if you're enjoying watching my video, please subscribe to my channel, 美国音标, so you get notification of all my future videos and also all the other videos I have. So thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.